To say it's been a tumultuous couple seasons for Everton would be the understatement of the year. Between points deductions, ownership groups that can't seem to buy the club, a new stadium, coaching changes, and battling relegation year after year, nothing has been easy for the Toffees of late. And now they've had this strange saga all summer with Jarrad Branthwaite, their talented young defender who everybody seems to want to keep, but also want to sell for a lot of money. I can't get a good read of what's going on at Everton, so we're going to talk about it today here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. It's been a wild summer for Everton and Jarrad Branthwaite, and I can't quite figure out what to make of it, so we're going to talk about it today, and I want to get your opinion. But before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below. Get in that comment section. I would love to get your thoughts, particularly if you are an Everton fan. I'd love your thoughts on the Jarrad Branthwaite situation and the club as a whole. There's so much going on. Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave comments on Twitter at Pitchside Pub, and check out the website pitchsidepub.com where you can sign up for our free newsletter. So Jarrad Branthwaite, good, strong young player, almost made this England squad. You could argue that he should have, but he certainly was in that last few that did not make it. And good young player, valuable player, and most importantly, he's Everton's most valuable asset. And I hate looking at it that way because these are people, and this is a club, and this is a community that loves this club. But unfortunately, that's how you sort of have to look at it right now, particularly with the financial battles and struggles that Everton have had the last few years. And they had the points deductions. They're obviously up against the line of demarcation for what they can spend, and they have very little to spend. In fact, they don't even know who their owner is going to be moving forward. So it's a tumultuous time financially for them. And selling a player like Branthwaite could be the big ticket that they need, the big infusion of cash that they need to get out of that hole. Depending on who you ask, he's valued somewhere between 50 and 70 million euros. And I say depending on who you ask because this has actually been done. This is not hypotheticals. This is not taking from transfermarket.com. These are actual offers that have taken place. Manchester United made 2 offers for Branthwaite this summer, with the highest being around 50 million euros. That's what's been reported pretty regularly. That was shot down by Everton, and rightly so. I have been a big advocate over the years of smaller clubs not being bullied by the bigger clubs into selling players before they are ready, and in part because the player is ready to go, which is not the case here, but that happens a lot. A big club comes in and says, we're going to give you a huge sum of money for your player, and the team says, well, we don't really want to sell him, and then the player says, well, but I want to go play for them, they're better. And the small club has their hand forced, and they have to part ways with a really good young player long before they want to. I hate seeing that happen. Even as the fan of a big club, I hate seeing that happen. Even as the fan of a club who has done that to smaller clubs, I don't like seeing it happen. So I'm thrilled that Everton has turned those offers down if they feel they were unfair, and their valuation is around 70 million euros. That's their asking price. That's what they told Manchester United as early as the first go-around, the first offer, and they said, nope, come back when it's 70. And what happened? Manchester United said no, and they went off and got Leny Yoro from Lille, and the reported transaction there was for about 62 million. Now, what was really interesting about that was for most of the summer leading up to the Leny Yoro transaction to Manchester United, Everton fans were saying, no, we're only going to sell him for this great price, 70 million euros, whatever. And a lot did not want to sell him because there's a balance that has to be found between the cash infusion that is necessary, but also fielding a competent team so you don't get relegated. And sure, in theory, that 70 million could be spent on 2 or 3 players to reinforce the roster. But there's very little that's going to be more important, especially in a Sean Dyche team, than a good, solid cornerstone center back, right? So that would be hard to replace for the price. Second of all, they wouldn't get that full 70 all in one fell swoop. They'd probably get payments over time, so they wouldn't be able to go spend the money immediately and replace him with 3 players. So it doesn't quite work that way, the way it does in FIFA or something. So there's a real hesitation to sell what is probably your best player, and is certainly your best defensive player. And in Sean Dyche's system, and when fighting for relegation and sitting deep and not trying to outscore opponents, what's the most important thing you have? It's your ability to stop goals, play these low-scoring games, eke out some draws, eke out a sneaky win here or there, and to do that, you've got to have a guy like Branthwaite. So I totally get not wanting to sell him for anything less than the Godfather offer, right? That's that's the old Bill Simmons phrase from his days when he was actually a writer, where he would say, it's the offer you can't refuse, the Godfather offer. That's what it would take for Everton, and that's probably 70 million, right? He's probably not worth 70 million. It probably is closer to the 50 that United offered. It's almost certainly somewhere in between that 50 to 70 range, but they don't really want to sell him. So they're gonna make it be that 70, and they have every right to do that. But it was so weird then when Leny Yoro signed for 62, the most outspoken fans were the Everton supporters that went absolutely off their rocker. And I saw this on Twitter repeatedly. Again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me at Pitchside Pub. I saw a ton of this. It wasn't just a few isolated knuckleheads. There was an overwhelming majority of Everton supporters said, wait a second, you paid 62 for Leny Yoro and you wouldn't pay 70 for him? Well, hold on. Do you want to sell Branthwaite or not? I was under the impression that you did not. So it's been a very strange summer, from not making the England team to being linked with a lot of clubs. It hasn't just been Manchester United, to is he staying, is he going, and now reports are coming out that he's actually willing to sign an extension, which I love. I absolutely love, because that at least shuts up the transfer rumors, at least for a year, right? A contract extension does not... it'll be a 5-year contract. That doesn't mean he's going to stay for another 5 years by any stretch, but it means they're going to invest in him, and it's the biggest reason players leave, right? They don't get a cut of that transfer fee. They get a new contract, most likely with higher wages. They also assume they're going to win, right? He's not going to win anything at Everton this year. Is he going to win at Manchester United? I don't know. He has a better shot, certainly. But that's why clubs leave to go to a Manchester City, for example, because they've got a chance to win a trophy, and they're going to, triple their wages. So I get it. But if Everton can make the right gesture and give him the wages he needs, that's huge. That's huge, and that'll get him at least a year or two more of him, at which point they'll be able to get at least that 70, if not more, because at that point he'll still be a young player with loads of experience. Or maybe they actually get to keep him. Maybe they can actually build around him, because that's the thing, is he is a cornerstone piece. If they can add 2 or 3 more young players around him, all of a sudden there's a nucleus, and all of a sudden they're not fighting for relegation every year, and they're more middle of the pack. Then they can make a little more money, and it snowballs from there. But you got to start with a good cornerstone piece or two, and he can be that guy. So I'm fully with Everton not selling Branthwaite for 1 penny less than they absolutely have to, particularly if he actually wants to stay and commit and is willing to sign a new contract. I would love to see the contract get signed, shut up the transfer rumors, and go. But it was just so strange to see the reaction to the Leny Yoro signing. And I gotta tell you, Leny Yoro for 62, now he's more athletic and I think he's quicker and he has the potential to be an overall better player, but he's not as good as Branthwaite right now. And he certainly doesn't have the experience of having played a full season in the Premier League and played it pretty well. He played a full season in Ligue 1 in France, but that's not nearly as good. So right now, Manchester United would be better off this season with Jarrad Branthwaite. You can make an argument that Leny Yoro has a higher ceiling, and I would say that he probably does, but Branthwaite's is no slouch, so he's quite a good player to begin with. But we're talking 1A and 1B here, so that's why the prices are so similar. But for Everton, this opportunity to sell him is not going to go away. He's a good player, and he's going to continue to be a good player. So I love what they did here. I hope he sticks around, but it's been a tumultuous story. This saga has been very strange all summer, because he's been one of the most highly touted guys, but I guess we just don't see the little guys win this battle all that often anymore. And again, Everton's not necessarily one of the little guys, but right now they've got a little guy paycheck, and a little guy pocketbook, and little guy money. And so to win this battle, if they can pull it off and keep him around, would be a massive, massive coup for the Toffees. But at the same time, then do they have any money to support him? Is it enough? Is running it back with a similar team, similar squad to last year with Branthwaite, really anchoring the back, and he'll be a year better, so that helps, but is that enough, or are they going to fight tooth and nail for every point they're going to get again this year? So, is it the right decision? I don't know. I always gravitate towards players staying where they are and building from a young core, but they are going to need the money. So, it's really interesting to see. I don't know that I know the right answer here, but I still hope he stays and they can find a little bit more money to build around him, some other young, cheap talent, and make it an exciting season, for the Toffees, which their fans really do deserve because it's been a wild roller coaster. I would love to get your thoughts. Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think about this, about Everton in general, Branthwaite in general, this general philosophy. Get down in that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. You can also leave comments on Twitter at PitchsidePub. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. And of course, check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub.